Good morning. Good morning from London. Years ago, while working in Fulham, I was having a really great time, and it was a time of meaningful events that shaped what I am now, shaped my life in the direction that it's taking it right now. There was a period where everything, I would say, started like quickly and faster. That was when I lived in New Zealand. Over my short existence in this plane of reality, there have been many situations, many events that gave me an understanding of that something wasn't exactly in the way that I thought it was. But the time in New Zealand, I think that all this process that I was already going through for a while, from Italy and then to Australia and then in New Zealand. And I would say probably the 2011 was when like really things started to speed up with multiple synchronicities and mystical happenings and more. But I always say that New Zealand was really the point, the focus point of my evolution and my understanding about this, as I call it now, illusion, even if at time this illusion is really strong, because we came into this existence with a program. This program imply needs and desires, and when those needs are not met, obviously because of the program we are made of, we suffer. And one of the tricks is to detach from this suffering, to understand that this is just a game. And when those desires and dreams are not met, to understand that it's not the end of the world, isn't a problem at all, because this is a game. This is a game where the winner is the one that is capable to keep for a very long time inner peace. So Auckland has been like really important, and I did try to go back at some point, didn't work, and I might end up, at the end, but I might end up again to live there, forever or for a short time. But the thing is that whatever might happen, and that was meant to be at that time, and it might not be, meant any longer. So in that place, in that city, Auckland, and in that country, New Zealand, I met many people, and a lot of them has been so important, like my ex-Chinese girlfriend, the Korean girl I spoke about many times. Both of them have been so important for my change and my transformation. And then I met, authors characters, what in movies might call the minors, characters, like less important characters, but in the reality they're all important because every meeting it shaped the program that we became in this life. I met a lot of wonderful people. Some of them I worked in this wonderful cafe at the beginning of Queen Street in Auckland, in front of Brisbane train station, that now doesn't exist anymore. It's have been demolished for a new development. But the story, why I'm talking about this story, it's well, first because I was looking for some old posts, and second because at the time when I wrote about this, about Auckland, it was because that I think is like 10 years ago, I met in London a girl that used to work with me. And, we know that nothing happens by accident. And that day when I met her again, it was after work. I was outside the cafe. I was working at the time. And where I met, obviously, again, a lot of important people. And I was just, relaxing. I think I was having maybe a drink. And from across the road, I see a girl. But this girl was like, short dress, short skirt, like a very little top, like you could see everything. But as she started to walk toward me, I recognized her, and she recognized me. And obviously, she was so surprised, and I was not. So I think even at the time I was already so used to that kind of synchronicities. So we started to chat, and she was like, "Oh wow, I can't believe you're here." Blah blah blah, the usual things. And she just arrived in London. I think it was like a couple of days, and moved in the area. But she came to UK a year before, but initially she stayed for 1 year in Eastbourne, and then decided to move to London and moved in Fulham. I mean, that, as always, as I know now, when that happened, it means that I'm aligned, so my frequencies match the all, the frequencies that connects all of us. And then even as she moved in the area, I after that never seen it again. So that was just me to be only in that moment. But I mean, it's funny because now talking about this story, it reminds me about a friend that I became friends working in that cafe. And at the time, initially she was a customer. And in that period, we hired a new barista, and it was an Australian guy. And one day, my friend came for coffee, and when she walked in, she surprised, recognized the guy behind the counter, and the guy recognized her. And they both knew each other back in Adelaide, but didn't know they were both in London. And now, and till here, all good, happens all the time. But what was fascinating is that after work, we met, me and my friend, and I knew there was something strange. And she told me that the guy, years before, was so madly in love with her, to the point that started to stalking her around, and behaving crazy. Even he knew that she had a boyfriend, but it was just like I would say mentally unwell, to the point that I think that already she was about to leave. So, but probably if she didn't leave, she have to probably maybe call the police or get the police involved. So, but the thing is that amongst all the places, he got the job exactly in the same place where she was as a customer. Now, everything's attract, everything, and I strongly believe that the guy never been able to forget her, and because of that strong emotions, it moved the engine of this world energies, and eventually, you know, he ended up probably unconsciously to that place because that's what his thoughts toward her was taking him. Now, even if you end up meeting the person you love, it doesn't mean that she's gonna love you back, because then there is involved even the feeling of the person. So you can eventually get to the place, to the point where this person you love is, realizing that your emotion is guiding you. That doesn't mean that the person will exchange that feeling if it doesn't have it. So, but to say, there was obviously energies, frequencies, attraction, emotion, and at the same time it was maybe at the same time is even as I see it as a sign of being aligned, because when you're aligned is when you are moving in all the right directions toward what you wish to obtain. And this is a little bit what happened to me lately. I met a woman from Finland, my customer in a cafe, and we were chit-chatting, and she told me to go and visit Finland because it's beautiful. And then a few days later, I was working for the same company, and while working, I received a message, and the message is about the job offer to go for 4 days to work in Helsinki in Finland. And in the same day, I realized that my phone VPN was in Finland. So obviously I was aligned, and for a bit, this made me really realize how when we are in peace and we expand our inner energies, how it moves things in a way that lead to things that we want. So I did want to go and work around the world, and it's happening. It started to happening. But anyway, Auckland was a wonderful time where I met many of the very important people that gave me this, I would say, understanding, if I did understand a bit about this illusion. And even sometimes if I do understand, I keep falling sometimes, back and forward, back and forward. But Auckland and all the people I met in Auckland, and Auckland itself was wonderful and magical. And again, everything is energy. So if you're in a room with many people holding higher energies, you will be affected by it. Same if the energy is very low. Now, if you're not aware and then capable to shield yourself, you're gonna be taken down by the lower energy. So Auckland, I think, due to the community that lives in Auckland and the nature, the energies are higher, and that's what I actually felt. Not realizing it at the beginning, and then when I started to realize, it made me understand why I had so many mystical occurrence in that time, and why I was at the end, I was so in peace and calm, because all the energies there were in the same at the same level, in the same plane of peace and calmness. I want to go back. I want to go back to Auckland, and I want to go back to New Zealand, and it will happen eventually if if I keep really if I desire to that to happen. Anyway, I miss Auckland, I miss New Zealand. I want to go back at some point, and now I'm in London, and I'm going to work. Peace and love. Ciao.